Well, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Ask the Expert session. So today's topic is to discuss what's new in Altair Monarch Complete version 2024, also known as version 24.0. Okay, so this next slide is not in the PowerPoint slides that you're already downloaded. I just added. I just want to show you the version between previous version. So the previous version was 2023.1, or also known as 19.2. But in this new version, they are not going to use like version 20. Instead, they change it so it matches the year version. So it's basically the two version, 2024 or 24.0. So in case you need to discuss, have issues, you need to contact our support and you want to mention the version number, you can either say 2024 or 24. Okay, so these are a few things that we added in Monarch Data Prep Studio. The one that are highlighted, XML and JSON parsing, as well as preview the Windows user experience improvement. There's nothing I can show you, but we made significant improvement with the parsing XML and JSON, particularly if JSON had over 1,500 columns. In the previous version, it took a long time to load the JSON, and also if the customer needed to create a formula field or calculated field for the JSON, the response time was quite slow. But in this new version, if you're working with the large JSON file or XML file, the parsing is much improved and the response time is a lot better. Unfortunately, I have the customer file. I cannot show you that, but if you have a JSON or XML file, I suggest that you use the latest version of Monarch Data Prep Studio. Okay, but I do have stuff to show you on the other topics. So let's go to the next slide, which is one of the most improvement that was made in version 2024 is working with PDF documents. So previously in version 2023, when you loaded a PDF in Data Prep Studio, you could select the different PDF engines as listed here. And then depending on which engine you use, then some of these options would change. Now in the version 2024, there are basically two API or engine mode available for PDF. One is simple mode, which is similar to 2023. The other one is expert mode, which basically allows the user to specify, right justify, left justify columns for PDF using expert mode. So let me show you a demo of PDF expert mode. So it's hard to find. Oh. Okay. I am going to drag and drop a file. So this PDF report basically has columns. As you can see that the columns here are shifted. It's not exactly lined up. Okay, so again, simple mode is similar to version 2023. You can select different engine version for PDF and use some of these options. With expert mode, if you switch to expert mode, then expert mode automatically adjust these columns, whether they're left justified or right justified. Okay. You also get this floating bar, which you can just change the right or left justified in expert mode. So if you want to like readjust these left justified settings, you can clear everything, or you can just click on one of these options and just delete them. Okay, so let's just click clear everything, and then you can readjust these columns. For example, let's say if I want this to be left justify, I click here, and then whether I want to use it as left or right justify, I just add that. If I don't want that, I can just go ahead and delete that options and then reconfigure this. Okay, so or you can just click on auto adjust, which basically automatically adjusts all the columns. Maybe not the way you want it. You can always readjust them. But as you can see that if between the two pages, you can see that everything is lined up nicely here on this page, also on previous page, or next page. So that's pretty much if you have a PDF that data are shifted horizontally, you may find the expert options is suitable to configure your PDF in document options view. Okay, and these other options basically stretch, basically controls how the page width of the original PDF is translated into a monospace text file. If you increase it, it will expand the document width and pull text groups further apart. Text merge is basically allows you to merge the text within the PDF. Again, you can expand and increase or decrease it. Basically, these options, you can just play with it, see how it works, and you may want to just use it or just accept the default. Alignment snap is basically controls how far both left and right and alignment can reach to grab a text. Again, if you click on any of these question marks, it will give you a bubble help that you can just take a look at it and see if it makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, if you had additional columns, again, you can click anywhere in the document. So for example, if this is the end of it, I can just click here and may just add another left alignment here. So that's pretty much with the PDF expert. Once you're finished defining the settings in the document options, you just click on the accept button. Then you're back into the report design, and you can see that the two pages that the data were shifted, now they're nicely lined up. So I can just select a row and then select a template, which is basically a step number 2. A step 1 to select a sample. A step 2 is select a template, which in this case I select detail template. And step number 3 to define a trapping. So I can trap basically on invoice number. As you can see, these are redacted. So if you had the actual data, it would probably make it easier to trap. But obviously, I can trap on the date column. And you can see that now all the rows are selected. And finally, step number 4 is to define fields within the sample text. So by clicking on the wizard, it just selects the field. Obviously, it may not be correct. You may have to readjust the defining fields within report design. Okay, I'm just going to pause and see if there are any questions by the participants. I don't see any questions. All right, so that's pretty much with the using PDF in expert mode. So there are basically 2 APIs. One is a simple, one is the expert mode. And then once you open a PDF report in Data Prep Studio, it is open in document options, and then you can choose whether you want to use simple or export. If the data is kind of lined up, maybe simple would be sufficient, but if the data shift and is kind of like has these columns on each page, maybe expert would be a better solution to configure the PDF option. Okay, so let me just cancel, and then also cancel, and then minimize that. All right, the next the features that added is dynamic date filters and in prepare view. Okay, so in version 2023.2, as you can see that we did have this date macro or date selecting dates in filter when you define a filter. So you could select a date and you can just say if date equals certain dates. Okay, but what's added in version 2024 is dynamic filter. Basically, this filter type, whether you want to use as a static or dynamic. Static is the same as before, but if you select dynamic, then it will also allows you to select the, whether you want to select a specific date, date period, or date window. Okay, and that's what's new in this version of the 2024. So again, let's just open up a report with date. Hopefully I think I have some dates, yeah. And yes. Okay, so again, if you select a filter, define filters, and then whether you want to select the static or dynamic, again, the static is the same as the old one, but the dynamic also provides these three options and interval type, whether you want a specific date, which will give you, today, yesterday, tomorrow, first off, last day, what have you here, okay? Or you can choose a date period. In this case, calendar year, half year, quarter, month, week, days, and you can select an offset. So for example, if you select a calendar year, and then the offset, whether you go 1 year, it would be next year. If you go the other way, negative, it would be previous year. As you can see, as you modify these dynamic dates here, it will give you an example of what you're going to get, okay, down here. All right, so you can choose any of these interval types to define a filter using dynamic filter. So this will give you a from and to, depending on whether you want to select, today and, between today and tomorrow. So basically, it just makes it easier to define a date filter on the date column. All right, so that is the dynamic date. Again, as you modify these settings, it will show you an example here, what the result's going to be. Or you can just go back to the static and just click here and define your date filter here. Okay, the next one is new XML. Okay, I already talked about that, PDF export and fixed width text export. So basically, in this the old version, as when you exported, there was no PDF export, as well as fixed text export. With the new version, when you export a load plan or a table, you will see these two options, fixed text or PDF. Okay, so you can you can export as PDF or you can export as a fixed text. All right, so this is new features added in version 2024. Again, I'll just wait to see if there is no questions. I'll just go to the next step. Next slide. Okay, column display width and alignment persistence for formatted export. Okay, so you can see that in version 2025, that if you click on the column width option, there was no width options. So we didn't have a width options. In this new version, we do have the width option. As you increase or decrease a column, it also adds a change list here, okay, which shows like, you know, how big or how small the column was adjusted. Okay, so in this case, the department column was changed to 38 characters. And this is useful in case you need to export your table as a fixed text, and you will need to create a fixed text report with a fixed column. Like, you know, the first column would be 10 characters, the second column 20 characters, and so on and so forth. So you can basically use these options on the width column to define each column as a number of characters that you're interested, and then you can export the table as a fixed text report, and then that table, the fixed text report, can be used maybe in another program. Okay. So for example, here, if I just keep increasing that column expense type, it would basically add that, okay, it is 42 characters long, and you can go to the column list, and it will show you that under the width column, you know, there's 42 characters long. Okay, and that's new in this version. Again, like I said, this is useful if you need to export this table to a fixed text, and you want each column to be of certain characters. Then you can adjust the width in column list. Browse functionality for HTTPS, FTP, and SFTP. Okay, so again, the older version, we did have the HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, and SFTP. Actually, we didn't have SFTP. Okay, so those are the options. But in the newer version, we do support all these HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, and FTPS, SFTPS. However, when you copy and pasted a URL and paste it here, you could just click on the OK button, okay, and then that would load it in data prep. But now you have this browse button. So if you select HTTP or HTTPS, you copy and paste it here, then you can click on the browse button. So it will try to load it to make sure you can you know, see the page. It's available. So this is a new features added in Data Prep Studio. Report index. This option was available in Monarch Classic, and we just added in version 2024. So if you have a report and you want to create index by certain fields, so you can then navigate by those keys. For example, here I can create a report index by category and report or expense date. So an index report index is created here. So then I can just click on any of these dates, and then by category, and then the Monarch will jump into those page. So in order to produce a report index, you have to select a report. If you are on the table, you will not see report index. Okay, you will need to be selecting a report. In this case, there are two reports, two different dates. So then you will see the report index tab here. Okay. Then you just click on Edit Index Field button, and then you select the fields that you want to be able to index by. So again, I can just say by category, by department, and by expense date. So it just builds a report index for both reports, not just one. Even though I selected 2016, but you notice that it built a report index for both reports. So I can just basically expand the 2027. That is the department. Under department, that is the expense report, and there's only one operation. So I can just click and just jump into operations. Or you can just select a different report and navigate through the report index. So it's kind of nice in case if you need to navigate between your reports to see your reports, how the data has been modeled based on the colors, as you can see, seeing like a detailed report, append report, the page report, or just if you're just interested on, inspecting your report, so you can build the report index by keys that you define through the model. If there is no model, you won't be able to do the report index. Okay, you have to build the model in report design in order to build the report index. Okay. Again, I don't see any questions, so let's just jump into the next slide. Change history item, collapsing, and case-sensitive join, and many more miscellaneous enhancements. Okay, obviously there's many bug fixes fixed in this version. The change history item collapsing is just this button. Again, if you have basically, if you have a change list, you can collapse those by clicking on the change, collapse all changes. Okay. So just that is the options that's added. The other option is join, case sensitive join. Basically, it's just this is the options that added. So if you have a keys that are case sensitive and you want to join by case sensitive, you choose that option. Let me show you an example of what we had to do previously before this option. Okay, so previously we had, let's say there was two reports, although these are pinned, basically they are part of the workspace. As you can see that the keys are case sensitive between the two reports. They're similar, but there's there's uppercase, lowercase, and we had to create a case sensitive join. So one thing we had to do is, first of all, append them together. All right, and then here just specify which one is from first file or which one is from the second file. So as you can see that now they are the same, like these two are the same, but the uppercase, lowercase. Okay, then create a duplicate option. And in duplicate, we just say, okay, duplicate on the key one, and mark with the new key. If they're duplicate, it would put a 0 or 1. Okay, 0 means they're duplicate, 1 means they are not duplicate. Okay, and then also case sensitive. Then added a calculated field. So if they are duplicated, actually 1 means duplicate, 0 means no duplicate. So if they are duplicated, then use the base 64 encode option to basically convert those to base 64 encoding. So now, as you can see that these two keys are the same, but once they are converted to base 64 encoding, they are different. Okay. Then basically this is done for both reports, because we had to append them for both reports. And then now I can just filter for report 1 and filter for report 2, and then join them together. So we end up with 3 rows that basically these are the same. So in this case, this finds the keys that are the same. and we could find the keys that are not the same. But in this version, just using the option of case-sensitive join, then it just gives us the same results. Okay, so you can see that how much work was involved previously to create a case-sensitive join versus the new one is a lot easier. You just select that option and you get a case-sensitive join. Okay, no questions? Okay, so I think this would be my last slide. Okay, and now I can open the floor for questions. Something you want to see that hopefully I can show you. So don't be shy. You can either speak up or just ask your question or any questions regarding Monarch Data Prep Studio, new version, previous version that you may have.
If you want, you could raise your hand and we can turn the mic over so you could ask if it's easier than typing it in the question panel. And so again, the handout that Mo was presenting, the PowerPoint it is there in the handout section. If you have a specific function that you're trying to do with your current data models or workspaces, this is a great opportunity to ask, just to verify and validate. So yes, let me unmute you for last.
No,
I think you're self-muted. He's got a question, or did he submit one? Oh, he submitted one.
I see. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is there auto width for columns? No, I don't believe there is an auto width for columns. So let me just close this one and open up the expense report. Let's see. This is automatically increase row height. No, we don't have. Unfortunately, we don't have automatically auto column width to automatically adjust. So then, like in column list, might be apply selected format. I'm not sure. I don't believe we do have an auto column width. Okay, so yeah, just individual column we can adjust, but we don't have a. I don't believe we do have auto width for columns. Let's see, what is this?
For my own question, Mo, what does that maybe, format option do?
Maybe this is it. Auto size column. Yeah, this is it. I just noticed that. It just made everything the same. So yeah, that's okay. Looks like this is the button, auto size column. I didn't notice that. I just noticed it. Okay, yeah.
Thank you for the question.
I just learned something today too myself. Alrighty. Okay, next question. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, well, that was, you're welcome. Any more questions?
Well, if people need some time to think of a question, let me go ahead and launch the poll question right now, since we got a great group of attendants. So if your screen is at max capacity to see what Mo is presenting, you'll have to minimize it in order to respond to the poll survey. So for our topic for October 15th, would you like to see DPS summary enhancements? Would you want to dive into Monarch server with sequential and parallel jobs? Would you want to review over the user security, single sign-on, and Active Directory integration with Monarch server? And if you select other, if there's a whole different topic you'd like to review, in our closing survey, when we end the webinar, you'll have, I think it's the third question, where it's going to ask you, if you selected other, please enter that topic here. What we'll do is then grab your topic idea and add it onto our voting poll box.
By the way, you can have both version 2023 and 2024 installed on your PC. They are installed on separate folder. And I just loaded the same report in version 2023. As you notice that this auto-defined auto-adjust column is not there in version 2023. It is available in 2024. So somehow maybe I missed that option as a new feature. But anyway, it is available in 24, but not available in 2023.
And I see we're about 3/4 of the way there. So again, those who haven't voted, please take the time to do so. Here's your chance to have a topic presented. And you'll notice that you'll only have the option to select one topic. So it's like, what's the most important topic you want to review? But by all means, please go ahead and select other if you don't see something that you want to review. All right, we're going to do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so it looks like the winner will be Monarch server, sequential, and parallel jobs that we'll be reviewing. And so don't worry, these other topics will remain available to vote for the following session. And again, we still have time, I think almost 20 minutes. So this is your chance if you're trying to trap something, you were struggling, a formula that you couldn't figure out. It's an opportunity to take advantage and see if we can help you out. As teachers say, there's no such thing as a dumb question. I'm still learning myself. I was just curious. I'm curious, Mo, if you go back to that column list, and I just noticed, like, what does it say that apply selected format to all? Maybe I've just never really paid attention.
Basically, if you have like a selected format, so this is a character. So I click that, it would apply that to all of the, although, let's see.
But like, I don't see, like, or is it more for, like, I would think another window would pop or something, like when I'm used to format. I'm just kind of curious. Or does it mean that it's going to just?
I was assuming that this would apply selected format to all. So basically, let's see, this is 25, 29, just to all of the fields. Maybe in this case wouldn't be applicable because we have some
Right, because we have
letter.
Characters and numbers.
So let's say I change this to like fix maybe numbers, okay, instead of fix. Then if I just say apply selected format, this also becomes
there you go.
fixed.
So it applied
Okay.
it to all the other number.
Right. Okay. So if you have a lot of fields that you can just adjust, you can just apply selected format to all.
Sounds great.
Casing.
Oh, that's nice. So you could do the casing there instead of in the.
Right. And also macros. Let me see, there is a question here. Does DPS export data to Azure Databricks? It exports a table to Azure. First of all, you need to configure Azure on the server, Microsoft Azure. Okay. And once you configure that, it basically uses account name and account key. So it exports to data lake storage, Azure data lake storage. Okay. So once you configure that, then you can, so for example, let's export sort. And then until there is my, so let's just do a CSV in this case, and here we just select either Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 or Azure Blob Storage. Okay, so these are the exports. So if I use Gen 2, then browse. Obviously, since that is already configured on my case, I can see there is a demo container here, which I can just export, and this would be called this sort dot CSV for lack of better name. Okay, so this would sort it to Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. If there are any filters, defined filters and sorts, you can apply it. You can include column headers. Then you can choose, the settings for CSV file. Okay, and that's it. So you just export that. So this is basically that copied to the clipboard. So I just let me open up so I can. Azure. Okay, and there is, it was this one. Container, demo container. And we're just going to CSV, and there is the file right here, just exported today. Okay. And you can also download files from Azure to the Data Prep Studio. Again, you just need to configure here on the server. If I have problems seeing. Okay, yeah, you need to configure this area. Once it's configured, then you can just either upload, export, or download. Okay, so there's two methods. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 or blob storage, as well as Amazon S3 or Oracle Cloud infrastructure or Google Cloud. Again, these needs to be configured under the settings before you can upload or download to those cloud storage on the server. Can DPS export data to Azure? Oh, okay, that was the same one. Sorry. All right. Any other questions?
If there's no questions, if folks can't think of something, we could end the webinar early, but again, want to give you guys the opportunity to share any thoughts. I know there was one pre-reg question, Mo, that was sent in. The person that signed up wasn't there. Was mentioning how they'd love to see a session on constructing a visual process in Monarch Automator. She was trying to set up a visual process that had 75 plus files sitting in a directory, waiting to be processed through the workspace. She was trying to move them to an archive folder once they had been delivered the output. But because it was getting processed too fast, and she was renaming them, that several of them were coming up with the same file name, and it would return an error because the file existed. But then she made the comment that as she's typing it out, she realized she should have just kept the files, the names as they were originally, and that's what corrected it. So I just wanted to share a little.
Well, there is an option. There's an option of overwrite. Okay, so
again, I don't know if your server is up and running, if it takes a while, but
no, it is up and running.
Okay.
So this is not integrated with Active Directory. So this is just using the default security, by the way. And this is the latest version 2024. So this version of this version of Monarch server can be used with the Monarch complete version 2024. So okay, so let's say this would be, point to a subfolder that has 70 or so files. You can just use, use asterisk.pdf, obviously workspace, export, and then here, you can use a move it to a subfolder or archive folder and choose overwrite. So if the file exists, it would overwrite it. Okay. I'm assuming that when you move the file to the archive, it would be a new, these files do not exist. Or you can use timestamp it. So when you move to a folder here, you can use a, folder name. Obviously, you can use a name path. Let's just put archive here. And then I can just use the macro to create a folder by date and month and optionally day. Okay, so so if these files are coming every month, it would go to the archive with different month, and since it is going to be those files should not exist, I still put these override options. So in case the file exists, it will override it. Otherwise, the process fails because it cannot move the file to the archive folder. All right. So that I would probably handle it this way. Okay. Not sure if there is any questions about the Monarch server or Monarch.
So again, next session we'll actually be reviewing Monarch, parallel jobs, sequential jobs. Same time, 11:30, third Tuesday of the month. I know there's just a few minutes, but if there's no question, here's a question.
Is it possible to use API add input with DPS workspace in Monarch server? Yes, it is. Yes, you can. And I believe I done some. I do have. I just have to find it. But yeah, you can basically you can use through API add input to add that input and pass it to the workspace, and then export it. Fortunately, obviously you have to use the script macro and get input in the script, script test output. Maybe this one, I don't know, maybe. No, this one just gets input. It doesn't add input. I know I've done it, but I just can't find it. But yes, you can add input, using add input options. For those of you who are not familiar, you can just click, if you click one of these script and click on user defined help options, it will give you script help, working with output, working with input, as well as you can look at all the API methods by one of the, this one. This one. All right. So these are all the API methods, and the add input is the one that's in the question. Maybe this is something that we can show that on the next call when we do the sequential and parallel job in visual process. But yes, you can do that. And who's asking Lay? Okay, I can, if I find the script, I can send it to Rebecca, and then Rebecca can share it with you. Any other questions? Alrighty, no questions.
Yeah. Well, let me do my closing slides real quick, Mo. Let me get that over. Let me get the presenter so I can share my screen. Right here. All right, so again, there's in the attachments is a copy of this PowerPoint. If you download it, you'll have some of these helpful resource web links that you can visit. So write the link to our Ask the Expert, our customer success mailbox, YouTube channel, additional product information. If you haven't gone to the community site, this is how you can open a ticket by creating a case, contact support. Subscribe to our Monarch forum. You can see updated blog posts, announcements that are being shared. Documentation, great resources. Our Altair Exchange has a model library app system. So you can see the various different systems we've created, some models and workspaces, along with we may have a server workflow process that you could leverage. Our e-learning site, go in, search for Monarch. We actually have a certification course that you could take and earn a LinkedIn badge icon. They're developing the advanced course certification as we speak. You could do the regular one. If you don't have the latest Monarch 2024, I know I have it updated, but you'll look for that Monarch 2024 under the Data Analyst License Suite that you'll be able to download. And if your team hasn't leveraged a complimentary onboarding session, working session, we do have that from the customer success team to offer. Little shout out and brag. Altair was recognized in the Gartner as a leader in the 2024 Magic Quadrant for our data science and machine learning platforms. So a little shout out to our data analytics solution. Another upcoming webinar that we do have, save the date, October 23rd. It's our Future AI Horizons, speaking about how to thrive in a transforming digital world. So we have some great technical leaders that will be joining and presenting during this webinar. And our next session, as mentioned, October 15th. So we'll start with that Monarch server processes in both sequential and parallel. So thank you all for joining us. We look forward to connecting with you next month, and have a wonderful day and a great week. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.